single answer. Question number 6, the Honourable Phil Goff.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Will proposed changes to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade undermine its ability to carry out its role in promoting New Zealand's trade, security and consular interests?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
On behalf of the Minister, no. The proposals for change put forward by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade senior management are just that, they are proposals. The Minister is aware that some staff hold the view that some aspects of the proposals could impact adversely on New Zealand's representational interests overseas, so the Minister has therefore stated that he and the Government will carefully examine the proposals in parallel with staff consultation to ensure that no initiatives having any adverse impacts are adopted.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. What's the Minister's response to this cable from his ambassador in Argentina, dated the 2nd of March, which describes his government's proposal to cut his staff from 11 to 4 as, quote, unquote, Armageddon-like and utterly, quote, unsustainable, and says that the lack of staff will stop him carrying out core duties like pursuing a free trade agreement with the 3 countries he represents, New Zealand in, plus Brazil, a huge trade bloc.
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
On behalf of the Minister, as I've already indicated to the House, the Minister is aware that some ministry staff hold the view that some of the proposals could impact on New Zealand's capacity to advance its diplomatic interests. For that reason, the Government is carefully considering the proposals. Initiatives which are judged to have the potential to impact negatively on New Zealand's diplomatic interests will not be entertained by the Minister.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
Question, Mr Speaker. When senior ambassadors like those in Argentina and Singapore are all telling him on the record that the slash and burn cuts will result, and I quote, in a major reduction in New Zealand's foreign policy efforts, end quote, will he listen to them, or will he just get his CEO to send out instructions to all ambassadors that they are not to express their concerns in cables to him, as happened yesterday?
The Honourable Chris
On behalf
Finlayson.
of the Minister, my advice to that member is to listen very carefully to answers, because if he had listened to the previous answer, he would have heard me say on behalf of the Minister that he will be listening very carefully to those members of the diplomatic community who do have concerns. They are proposals for change. Must listen to answers.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
If the Minister is telling the House now that he wants to listen to them, why were ambassadors told yesterday, instructed not to express their concerns to him in cables?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Well, on behalf of the Minister, I'm not sure of what instructions were issued, but I would have thought if such an instruction was issued, it was very good, because it would end up in the malignant hands of that member.
Order. Order. The Honourable Chris Finlayson will order. Order, there'll be no more interjection. Honourable Chris Finlayson will get to his feet and withdraw and apologise for that last totally unacceptable comment.
I withdraw and apologise.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
Mr Speaker, in light of the shambles this is now becoming, does he now agree, Mr Speaker, does he now agree, shall I wait for them to stop?
No, if the...
Does he now agree?
Order, there will be some silence, but the member must recognise, though, if he makes inflammatory comments in a question, there will be reaction, there will be noise. The supplementary question, Honourable Phil Goff.
In light of the responses he is getting, does he now agree with this comment, and I quote, "Few problems are solved by significant reorganisations. In fact, many more tend to be created. It's easy to underestimate the amount of energy and inspiration soaked up by institutional change as well as the loss of personal and institutional knowledge," end quote. That quote from Mr Key talking to the PSA in September 2008.
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
On behalf of the Minister and I would totally agree with everything the Prime Minister says, but I would say this yet again, on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr Peters, that the Minister is aware that some ministry staff hold the view that some of the proposals could impact on New Zealand's capacity to advance its diplomatic interests. For that reason, the Government is carefully considering those proposals. Initiatives which are judged to have the potential to impact negatively on New Zealand's diplomatic interests will not be entertained by the Minister.
The point of order, the Honourable Phil
I
Goff.
seek leave of the House to table a speech from Mr John Key to the PSA Congress, 24th of September 2008.
Order. These speeches are all readily available to members. Question number 7, Louise Upston.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Women's Affairs and asks, what commitment